There are stories that seem to only exist on screen, but turn out to be a true reflection of life. The movie, In the Dark, a work that is taking social networks by storm, not only makes the audience breathless with dramatic twists, but also makes viewers shudder when they know that most of the details in the movie were inspired by the real life of the film crew. Clapperboard when the boundary between cinema and reality is blurred. According to a behind-the-scenes source, the script for In the Dark was originally just a normal psychological criminal project. But when the screenwriter discovered that a member of the film crew had experienced a similar incident as the main character, everything changed completely. Every line, every wound, every haunting look on screen is a recreation of a real life, full of hurt and torment. When we rewrote the script, we could not imagine that we were touching on memories that had never been revealed. Every word was a real pain, the director shared in an interview. Heartbreak they lived, in the dark, before the camera even started. Many astute viewers recognized the unbelievable sincerity in the actors' performances. And it was no coincidence. Some characters in the film had actually experienced loss, betrayal and fear just like in the script. That is why, In the Dark is not just a film, but a liberation, a way to face the past of people who were once swallowed by darkness. Fire when art becomes naked truth. What shocked the public the most was the terrifying coincidence between the film and real life. Some details in the film, which seemed to be fictional, coincided with events that happened many years ago, but had never been made public. The public began to question, is In the Dark telling the secret of its creators? Although the producer has not confirmed it, one thing is certain. Behind each haunting frame are real people, real stories, and pains that are never mentioned. In the Dark not only makes viewers afraid of the darkness on the screen, but also makes them moved by the darkness in the human soul. Because sometimes the scariest thing is not in the movie, but in the truth. Magnifying glass behind the scenes. When movies become healing therapy. No one in the film crew thought that In the Dark would make them face their deepest wounds again. According to a crew member, many filming sessions had to be paused midway, not because of technical issues, but because the actors actually cried when reenacting moments that were identical to their past. There are scenes that don't need to be acted out. They just need to remember. Tears fall on their own. A studio assistant revealed. The film's director, who is known for being cold and disciplined, also admitted, for the first time, I felt like I was no longer a storyteller, but a witness to the truth being revealed through the lens. Candle characters coming out of the real darkness. Audiences can easily recognize the pain in the eyes of Min Kang, the male lead who plays the role of a man who lost everything after an incident. But few people know that in real life, Kang also experienced a period of depression and disorientation after the death of a loved one. He once shared in an exchange session, "I'm not acting, I'm just reliving what I used to run away from." Similarly, Mai Truck, the main actress, also surprised many people when she revealed that she was a real victim in a similar incident to the one in the movie, but chose to remain silent for many years. In the Dark became her first public confession, in the form of art. High voltage when cinema touches the limits of truth. Many psychologists believe that the film crew's inclusion of real human experiences in the work is both courageous and dangerous. Because the line between acting and reliving is very fragile, if you go too far, art can turn into a new wound. However, that is what created the rare emotional power of the film. Viewers not only watch a fictional story, but also feel the real breath, real pain, and real struggles of people who were lost in the darkness. Speech balloon. What do audiences say? After its release, social media was flooded with comments. After watching it, my heart was heavy. It felt like I wasn't watching a movie, but listening to someone talk about myself. It's hard to believe that there are people who once lived among us, but carried such pain in their hearts. Many viewers also called In the Dark a film that heals through pain, because it forces people to face the darkness within themselves, instead of running away. New Moon darkness isn't just out there. When asked about the film's message, the director simply said, "Everyone has a dark place in their heart. But only when you dare to look at it, can you see the light." That statement brought thousands of people to tears. Because after all, In the Dark is not just a film about loss, but a journey to find oneself, faith and hope. Dizzy conclusion. When truth becomes art. Without the need for loud advertising, In the Dark still makes the audience sob because of its authenticity and emotional power beyond the screen. This is not just a film, but a confession, a healing journey and a mirror reflecting ourselves. Because in the end, who among us has not lived through some dark period in life? Open book unpublished behind the scenes. Diary, In the Dark. Few people know that, in parallel with the filming process, the In the Dark crew kept a common notebook, where each member was allowed to write down their true feelings after each day of filming. Not for PR, nor for souvenir purposes. They wrote, simply because they wanted to breathe, after filming scenes that were too heavy. Candle My Truck's diary page. I cried not because of the role, but because of myself. The 17th day of filming. The scene where I sat in a dark room, rereading the letter from the person who betrayed me. I cried, but not because of the character. I cried because I saw myself in 2018, the person who did not have the courage to say the words of forgiveness. When the director shouted, "Cut," I still sat still. The whole crew was silent. For the first time, I no longer knew what was film and what was real. Reading the scribbled lines, everyone felt the truth hidden behind the camera lights, where the pain was no longer a prop, but a memory that had never been healed. Face mask Min Kang's diary. I thought I had overcome it. Day 25. The scene outside in the rain. I had to hold the dying woman, an image that haunted me all night. I had experienced the same thing, in real life. I thought I had forgotten. But no, when I heard the sound of rain falling, I saw myself from 10 years ago, standing in the middle of a real storm, helpless. When asked why he still accepted to participate in the film, Kang just smiled. Maybe I need a chance to look back at myself, one last time. Clapperboard director's diary. No one walks out of the darkness without leaving anything behind. The last day on set. I watched each person cleaning up their props, their eyes tired but relieved. This film not only made the audience cry, but we cried too. Not because of the script, but because we realized, everyone carries a part of darkness within them, and only when we dare to face it, can we truly live. That was the last line in the notebook. After the film finished filming, the diary was carefully kept, not released, not published. But recently, a few pages were revealed to the press, leaving the public speechless. Crescent Moon in the Dark, the film that made people believe in the light. In the midst of a film market full of fast entertainment products, In the Dark became a phenomenon because it not only told a story, but also touched the deepest part of humanity. It is pain, loneliness, and the journey to find oneself after being hurt. Critics call the film a cinematic therapy, where viewers are allowed to cry, allowed to be weak, allowed to admit that sometimes the light only appears when we dare to go through the darkness. Sparkle's conclusion. When they step into the light. On the last premiere, the entire film crew held hands and walked onto the stage. No one talked about achievements or revenue. Only My Truck said softly through tears, "Thank you to the film, for letting me dare to live truthfully, at least once." The audience was silent. Then there were rounds of applause, not only for an excellent film, but also for people who dared to recount their own darkness to find the light.